We have a next topic on dreaming big on the cloud. Is it worth your time? That's a very interesting subject. And on that, we have Biswas Nair here, who's going to talk on that and share his insights. He has been passionate about introducing path-breaking and innovative technology solutions for Indian enterprises and hence founded Inspirria Cloudtech. They operate out of Asia, Middle East, and North America. So, Biswas, thanks for being here with us. Over to you. And we will have to limit to 16 minutes, and then maybe a few questions and answers, okay? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible? Okay, great. So let's get started with the topic with the limited time. I'll try to keep it restrained. So everybody knows about the cloud, and my focus is more in terms of actually ensuring that we cover how do you get growth with cloud. That's the most important topic which we have to actually cover up here. Let me start with statistics. And this is a very interesting statistics that 52% of the Fortune 500 companies since 2000 are gone. In 2001, BlackBerry had 45% market share of the mobile industry. We know where they are. And there are so many other stories in the retail sector and otherwise. The question which is very important here is that why is growth so elusive? If you look at your business itself, which you have been running, you would realize that we recently have had very limited amount of control, whether it is in terms of profit, whether it is in terms of margins, employees. So there's a lot of helplessness in terms of actually running a business today. And the important question today, especially since we come from the technology field, is that people do not buy technology. People do not buy software. The interesting aspect that we realize that people are buying business outcomes. Not sure if many of the people in the room are doing that, but that's the truth. People are buying business outcomes. And that's where actually the unpredictability comes in. It is today much more actually harder for the organizations to sustain, especially if you look at startups. There are more number of actually exits which has happened in any business compared to the growth factor which is actually required for running any business. So that's another aspect which is troubling most of the entrepreneurs. And I'm just quoting one of the study which INC magazine did, focused on actually the growth aspect. What are the barriers to growth? Why is it that organizations are struggling? Many of these aspects we know, but it's good to be summarized. So obviously customers, that's the most important aspect of it, we all know that. Increasing profits, looking at the cash flow visibility, tackling regulation, and building a winning team. So you can see that this sort of actually cuts across the business departments as well. So in this aspect of actually growth, which we all are striving to run for our own business, how is it that actually a cloud technology can actually benefit is what my focus would be. So I think if you look at some of the independent research companies, they've highlighted very clearly that the organizations which have been actually on the cloud path, there have been more amount of growth. There are certain technology department areas which are more impacted with cloud. And most of the organizations today are moving towards that path. This is a reality. I think I come back from running this organization for 15 years in India when cloud did not even exist. That was 2004. So for me, it's very heartening to see that the change which has happened related to the adoption of cloud. So quickly coming back to the core topic of cloud, I think that now most of the people in this room know what cloud computing is all about. So everybody knows it's pay-per-go. If you look at a CEO, he would say this is like a new way of running the business. If you speak to actually a CFO, he would say this is like the metering system, right? As I consume, I pay it. If you look at speaking to a CIO, he would typically tell you that this is how an IT is run as a business. All of that is true. That's what cloud computing is for you. And if you look at actually the timeline share, I think we know about it. We started from the mainframe era, we came to the client server era, and today is known as actually the cloud computing era. It's moving towards the new generation, and we'll very quickly come to know about that as well. So this evolution has been happening in a slow and a gradual pace, but it has really caught up with the reality today, where organizations realize that they run their business much more better when somebody else takes care of actually their software. And that is where cloud actually really helps from that perspective. Most of the people adopt cloud initially from the aspect of cost saving, and I would actually put it that to be a misnomer. Cloud should not be adopted only from a cost-saving perspective. There are a lot of other aspects which you should delve into. You should look into your business and realize that which aspects can actually be more benefited. So agility is one thing which will definitely help you with the growth factor. So the service management part of it, the accessibility part of it. Today, even for small and medium businesses, I always talk about it, that there is no difference between a small and medium and actually a high enterprise or a large enterprise, except that our figures are 0 in the P&L. We have less number of zeros, they have more number of zeros. But do we have less number of complexities? I would say no. I think our complexity is much more. And it is very, very important that we are expected to be more agile in an environment where things are continuously actually changing. So I think that's an area where agility can actually definitely be expected. So typically now, as the things have settled down in the cloud environment, we have predominantly settled down to 3 aspects. Software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service. That's the key categorizations that has happened in the market, and people predominantly align their strategies related to that. And all of this is the showtime business. This is where actually most of the vendors are focused on. This is where you have to pick and choose based on your business strategy, where you are, that which strategy of cloud computing are you going to really pick up. Maybe in some cases it needs to be all of them. So why does the market care? Why does the customer care? Traditionally, if you look at it, when we have bought software, we have paid the license fee, and then actually the vendor came in and said, oh, I need to be paying an AMC, annual maintenance contract, which ranged from 19% to 22%. I picked up some example here. But for any business to run, beyond the software cost, you had a lot of other cost as well. And that's where the first time the concept of a total cost of ownership came in. Look at the total cost of owning a software. And you realize that you actually end up paying so much of money. And that's when people started asking this question, that what does my business benefit by giving all this AMC money? None. I'm funding actually the R&D money for these vendors. And that is why one of the key dramatic shifts started happening in the industry. And the reality of actually the on-premise market compared to the cloud market is that the cost for running any project is 5x times. Second part is that most of the people who are running on softwares are still running 2 or 3 versions, older versions of actually the software. They have not benefited. They have not even moved in because of the customizations they have done. And this is very critical part of it. Majority of your IT staff today is still maintaining, as they call it, lights on business. There's hardly any time for innovation. If you need to do innovation, your normal mainstream activities needs to be taken care of it. So today, majority of the people are still doing actually a lot of maintenance. Last but not the least, this is a reality. We call it as a hairball. This is where actually you have different departments running different systems and still trying to integrate with each other. That's the biggest challenge related to that. So why should we care? The reason why we should care is that our business has changed. We have moved into different kind of geographies. We have moved into a distributed channel selling. We are looking at actually shrinking the IT resource. We are looking at more business visibility. Today, every business people want to know real time, even if they are running a distributed business across the country, across the world, they want to have a real-time dashboard of what's happening with the business. But the fact is that actually version lock software doesn't allow that to happen. So the change has happened because of what the business agility is requiring. So what disruptions can possibly cloud bring into any organizations? And as you can see, it's actually across the board, starting from people to structure and everything in between. And that's why it becomes very, very important, and I'll touch that topic, that if you start implementing a cloud strategy in your organization, what is very, very critical for you to do is pick and choose the right strategy. So where do we start? I think that once you've realized the fact that cloud is actually a realistic thing which is happening, the most important aspect for you first would be to, in terms of conducting some workshop with actually experienced consultants. Or it could be even with your group of people whom you trust, and understand that what is it that I can actually look at doing for my business. Once you identify that workshop and get yourself trained, I think it's very important to pick up a pilot project. Look at a business which is impacted. Look at a business which can add value and say, okay, let me experiment with the cloud technology in this particular vertical, in this particular product line, maybe in this particular geography, and leverage the experiences that you have from this pilot in terms of expanding it across your business board. So I think that being a small and medium business, I definitely think that it is not appropriate that you go with actually a blue ocean strategy, right? It needs to be actually small steps which builds your confidence. And so look at a concept realization, look at actually the knowledge realization, and eventually you will lead to the benefit realization. So this is one of the reality actually as you will go ahead with the cloud strategy, you will look at understanding that traditionally the way you have looked at buying software or infrastructure, there's a lot of hidden cost. And fortunately with actually the cloud kind of a model, the pricing is upfront. It's pretty much realistically there. There's no hidden cost. There's no AMC, there's no additional resource cost. And these type of activities helps you in terms of ensuring that the ROI you are expecting from any project to be implemented through cloud can be actually executed the way you actually typically look at doing. So why should you run your business on cloud? A lot of points actually factored here. My personal take on this would be very clearly focusing towards actually the growth factor. I would say that if you're focusing on growth, profitability, margins, agility of your business, I think this should be a key area where you can leverage cloud technology. So in summary, what are the benefits of cloud? First and foremost, as everybody would say, lowers your IT cost. Important, but not the only option that you need to look at it. More importantly, it can be deployed in months, not in years. Gone are the days where the software implementation cycle goes on for years. We've actually moved from the month to the week schedule now. So we are looking at actually implementing a software in less than 4 weeks time frame. That's the kind of deployment which the customers are actually expecting from us to do that. We have done that for more than 600 customers now over the last 15 years. And people really appreciate that you need to have actually somebody who moves along with the same agility of your business. Flexibility, enabling the business agility and innovation. I would say look at a cloud software which not only meets your need for today, but your needs for tomorrow. Your strategy for tomorrow needs to start initiating from today itself, and your technology would be a very important aspect of it. And last but not the least, please run your business and allow actually the cloud companies to run their software, give you a commitment of actually the service level agreement, and ensure that you can actually have your key focus towards your people and in terms of your growth market, and that will help you with actually the business growth which is required. Okay, so I think I managed to beat it in time.
Much in time, actually.
Much in time. Okay.
You saved a couple of minutes for us.
Okay, great. So that will help the next speaker. If there are any questions, I'm happy.
Any questions? We have time for one question for him. Any questions anyone has? Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Biswas, please stay here. We'll have memento.
Thank you very much. Thanks to the audience.
Thank you, Biswas, for coming.
Thank you so much.
Sharing your insights with us.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.